Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and it all begins tomorrow on Saturday. Kicking it off is going to be the Carolina Hurricanes and the Ottawa Senators. They'll meet at 3 p.m. on ESPN. Carolina won the regular season at 2-1. A couple questions coming into the tournament for Ottawa is going to be Linus Olmark. Is he going to be playing that caliber hockey and goaltending that he did when the Bruins made their run a couple of years ago? And into Carolina, it's goal scoring. We've seen the last couple of years with them in the tournament, they've scored early in the first couple of rounds and then they fizzle off as it comes down the stretch into the Eastern Conference Final where they've made it the past couple of years. So they'll kick it off on Saturday. I think the Hurricanes are going to be able to pull this one out. And then on Saturday as well, it's going to be at 5:30, the longest matchup we've known, which is going to be Dallas and Minnesota. They tied their regular season record at 2-2. They start at 5:30 on ESPN. The Stars have lost in the conference final the last 2 years, both times coming to the Edmonton Oilers, who we will get to later. The question for the Wild, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement. Quinn Hughes, how is he going to make his mark in his first season with the Wild, and how is he going to perform in the tournament? He's looked great all season, especially once he came over from Vancouver over to the Midwest and the Minnesota Wild. So it'll be exciting to see him in the playoffs. Also on Saturday, it's going to be the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers in what is going to be the Battle of Pennsylvania. Backtracking a little bit, I think the Stars pick up the win over the Wild in that series. And continuing on with the Battle of Philadelphia, they tied their regular season at 2-2. Questions for Pittsburgh. That line, it's Crosby, Letang, and Malkin. Whole bunch of experience. And it's going to be fun to see them all go one more time. Again, Penguins, another team no one knew was going to happen. They pick up the second spot in the Metro and have home ice advantage over the Flyers. And with Philadelphia, the question, their power play last 15.7% this season in all of the league. And then their penalty kill bottom 10 at 77.6%. So they're going to need to stop a potent Penguins team, especially with Crosby on the penalty kill, or on the power play rather. It's going to be exciting. That wraps it up for Saturday. Moving on to Sunday, it will kick us off with the President's Cup trophy winner Colorado Avalanche and the Los Angeles Kings. Colorado went 3-0 in the regular season. They won the President's Cup, although President's Cup trophy looking more like a curse rather than a gift. It's only gone to 8 teams who went on to win the Stanley Cup, the most recent being 2012-2013 Chicago Blackhawks. And eight of the last trophy winners, 8 all-time, have lost in the first round. And 3 have made it to the Stanley Cup final, but to lose. And a question for the Kings coming into this, they had 47 total losses in overtime, 20 overtime losses, going 35, 27, and 20. So gonna see if they can win. If they were in the Eastern Conference, they're not making the Stanley Cup final. They weren't even close to be making it. But they get in the weaker Western Conference. We'll see what happens with them. And then after they wrap it up, it's going to be into Tampa Bay and Montreal. Last time these two teams met in the playoff, the Lightning won in 5 games in the 2021 Stanley Cup final. They'll look to take them down, but this time in the first round, Lightning went 2-2 in the regular season. They split it. They had played great games, though. They kick it off at 5:45 on TNT. That should be a fun one. I think the Lightning are going to be able to pull this one out. It's going to go to 7 games. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a tough matchup for 2 teams. Are Lightning going to get Hedman back? That's a big question. They've been without Hedman most of the season. John Cooper will make an announcement later this week on if Hedman will be back and what their plan is going to be going forward. Like I said, the Lightning are going to take that series. And then later on Sunday at 7:30, it's going to be the Buffalo Sabres and the Boston Bruins. Boston went 3-1 in the regular season. Buffalo hasn't made the playoffs since April 24th of 2011. It's been a long time coming for the Sabres. There's playoff hockey in the KeyBank Center in upstate New York, and the Sabres, 7:30 on ESPN. I think Buffalo's going to win this one. Buffalo's going to take down the Bruins. And the Bruins coming off a season where they missed last year. They missed the tournament last year, did not get into the Stanley Cup final. And then wrapping it up on Sunday, late night hockey at 10 p.m. on ESPN. It's going to be Vegas and Utah. Vegas, they have John Tortorella, 7-0-1 in his 8 games behind the bench. They fired their head coach at the end of the season. So see what Vegas does. Utah, they are much, much smaller than Vegas, but they're exciting. It's going to be fun to watch Utah go to work. Puck drop at 10 p.m. on ESPN in Las Vegas. And Vegas going to win that series. And then on Monday, it's Edmonton and Anaheim. Edmonton went 2-1 in the regular season. Edmonton's lost in the Stanley Cup final last 2 seasons. Can they get there and get over the hump? And the Ducks, they're just an exciting team. No one expects them to beat Edmonton, but who knows? Maybe they can shock the world and win it. So round off quickly who I think is going to win each series. Buffalo over Boston, Tampa over Montreal, Carolina over Ottawa, Pittsburgh over Philadelphia, Colorado over Los Angeles, Dallas over Minnesota, Vegas over Utah, and Edmonton over Anaheim, which brings us to round 2. In the East, it will be Buffalo versus Tampa. Buffalo 3-1 in the regular season. They played that great game a couple of weeks ago. There were fights. There was a comeback late by Tampa that just ended up short. And I think Buffalo will come out on top over Tampa. Again, a 7-game series. And then Carolina and Pittsburgh, the other two. Carolina 3-1 in the regular season. I think Carolina is going to take down the Penguins and end their magical run. And then that brings us to the West and Colorado versus Dallas. These teams split the regular season at 2-2. I think Colorado's going to win it. It's 2 teams that have met many, many times in the playoff over the last couple of years. But I think Colorado's going to be able to win this one. And that will set us to Vegas and Edmonton. They went 2-2 in the regular season as well. I think Vegas pulls this one out behind John Tortorella, and they're going to make another run. Eastern Conference Final, Carolina and Buffalo. Carolina, 3-1 in the regular season. I think it's going to come down to experience. Carolina's been in this situation before. They've been unable to get over the hump, but I think this could be the time that they get it done over Buffalo in 7 games. And then the Western Conference Final, Colorado and Vegas. Colorado, 2-1 in the regular season, but regular season record means nothing in the playoffs. I do think Vegas will pick this one up and go to the Stanley Cup final under John Tortorella, and then a Carolina versus Vegas Stanley Cup final. It will be a fun one. My predictions have been wrong for everything so far. Do not listen to any prediction I make. It's been rough. Masters, I was wrong. March Madness, I was terribly wrong. World Baseball Classic, I was kind of fair. It was kind of close, but only time will tell. And it's Carolina is going to take down the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup final and hoist Lord Stanley at the end of the tournament and cap off what has been a wonderful NHL season. So I hope you enjoyed. Leave your comments and predictions down below who you think is going to win the Stanley Cup final and how good of a tournament we're going to have. It should be a great one, but that's all I got for you in this video. So long.